Alright, hello, this is Max, my son, and then of course it's me, and we're finally getting around to doing this video of the functional movement screen. We kind of made up there about a month ago. One of the first things we're going to go through it as much as we can, as fast as we can. Most of it's going to be kind of review for you guys, but some of it may be new. The first one we're going to go through is the cervical spine, which will be very easy to eliminate any problems with that. So we're going to move Max about here, and he's going to demonstrate. Back just a little bit because we got camera malfunction. We're too close. So first thing we'll do is just have him kind of do cervical extension. So he's going to look up to the ceiling. The thing, the range of motion should be somewhere between 80 and 90. I always say if you can look up and have no problem with gazing eyes towards the ceiling and having no pain. You guys have done that before. Now the next one will be cervical flexion, where we're going to go down, chin to the chest. Again, looking for any pain or any discomfort with that. Next, we're going to rotate to the right, which if he turns his chin towards me, and he should be able to go chin over top of the shoulder as far as he can. Again, we're looking for pain. Same thing with the left. That should be somewhere between 80 to 90 degrees. One thing we don't want to do is shrug their shoulder forward or lift their shoulder up. The last one is going to be side bending to the right, so they're telling them to take the right ear to the right shoulder without shrugging their shoulder up or any pain or discomfort with that. So that's a really quick evaluation that we've all done. So I'm not going to spend a ton of time talking about that. But we're going to go on to the shoulder, which is probably the one that we'll see the most problems with. The first we're going to have him do is shoulder flexion. So he's going to stand right in front of me, and I always like to look at this in three different directions. One in the front, one to the sides, one to the back. So he's just going to you're just going to tell him to raise their arms above their head and see how, if they've got full range of motion. The big thing I want to see, and if he turns this way, just turn their whole body. And if he would arc his back to try to get more range of motion, but there may be some problems there in his mobility as far as shoulder range of motion. Again, I'm always going to ask them if they have pain. The difference between what we're doing and what you guys know as the FMS is there's so many different ways to test it, but the big thing is, it's so objective, and we don't want to be that objective. We want to be pinpoint, know exactly what's going on. They're using the 0 to 3 as their score, which is fine, but at the same time, I would rather it be, we're not playing a guessing game, and one of us think it's a 2, and one of us think it's a 3. It's either they have pain, they have limited motion, or it's both, or it's functional and they're having no problems at all. The second one they're going to have him do is I'm going to have him put his arms to the side. He's going to do abduction all the way up. Again, I'm looking from the front, from the side, and what I'm looking too is I'm actually looking at shoulder blades. I can look down and see if one of them is maybe winging a little bit. If he's got full range of motion with that, you guys know the range of motion is about 175, 180. These athletes should have no problem with that. The third, and probably the one that's most important that I see, especially with overhead athletes and any overhead sport, is internal and external rotation. So if he turns his back towards you guys all the way around, and if he takes one arm, put it over like you're reaching here, and the other behind your back, and tell them to get as close as they can. FMS uses a 3-inch distance between the two to tell you it's a 3+ or better. I just want to look at it as A, do they have pain? And B, are they limited? So I'm going to look here. Now that's of course right and left. Now I have him switch to the other side. So one's internal, one external. And as you can see, he's probably about the same. I try not to tell him to try to inch their way up. What they land is what they land. You can see he's got some, probably can't see here, but he's got some winging on one of his shoulders, which he has some right shoulder pain. Okay, you can relax. So any other way to do it, and I don't really need to show you guys this, but is internal rotation, external rotation, and a passive range of motion at 90 degrees. So you guys need to be aware that the 90-degree range of motion is very limited in internal rotation with the overhead athlete, and this causes a lot of problems. That's where your labrum tears come into play, because they're so laxed or they're so mobile at external rotation from all the throwing and the cocking phase, either tennis or volleyball, that they're limited in internal rotation. So they're tight in internal rotation and really lax in external rotation, which causes secondary problems like you see in a lot of these laborums. These kids are playing the sport all year round instead of just playing, you know, one sport after another. They're playing softball for 9 months out of the year. So I'm going to put it on pause and we'll skip to the next segment.